Hi, Jocelyn.
Okay guys, so for today's video, and it's going to be a little different than usual, we're not going to be talking about topics that aren't relevant to anything and that nobody really cares about. Today we're going to talk about motivating yourself and why you can't depend on other people to get motivated. Somebody asked me the other day why I'm so positive and why I always try to see the brighter side of things. And my response to them was because I'm always motivated about something. I always got something I'm looking forward to or something I want to get to. My answer to them was you can't walk around like other people owe you anything. And this applies to so many things. I have friends that argue with me all the time that they're not at the job they want because of someone else. They're not doing what they want because of someone else. Nobody owes you anything. You owe you. You're the reason you didn't get that better job. You're the reason you're not where you want to be. You're the only one stopping you from getting that better job, or getting that new position, or getting a promotion, or hell, even getting a new car. You're the one stopping you from getting a new car. And this applies with almost anything in life. The other way to get yourself motivated is you gotta want something. Like, let's say you want a second job, but you haven't applied for any other jobs, you haven't tried to get another job, you haven't looked for another job, but you say you want a second job. You don't want it bad enough. You don't have the proper motivation to get that second job. You don't have the drive to get the better job. That's not anyone else's fault. You can't be like, oh, well, nobody's hiring. There's always people hiring. If you really want the second job, it shouldn't matter where it's at or what you're getting paid. I mean, granted, you probably don't want to go from making $15 an hour to making $7, but if it's a second job and it's part-time, does it really matter? Like, you're still going to be making $15 an hour, full hour, 40 hours a week, and the second job is only to fill the gap. You know what I'm saying? I preach to all my friends all the time about how easy it is to get a job. Any job you could possibly want. I tell them all you gotta do is apply and get in touch with the hiring manager. Don't wait for them to call you. Don't sit there. Don't complain, oh, well, they said wait a couple days. There's been times where I've applied for a job online while sitting in the office of the place I was hiring for. And the second I filled out the application, I told them I filled it out and I wanted to speak to the hiring manager right then and there. And sometimes they push me straight into the interview. Like, I show up in a nice collared shirt and something, fill out the application, tell them I want to speak to the hiring manager. And boom, you're in. Same thing with like McDonald's and stuff. If you fill out for McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, right after you apply, tell them you want to speak to the shift manager, the hiring manager, whoever's in charge, or ask for the person's name that you need to speak to and when they're going to be there. It's not that hard to get the job. You just got to want it. And you got to want it bad. Like, you can't just say you want it. You got to really want the job.
You need to give 120% to everything you do. You gotta have a standard for yourself. A point where you're like, even if I'm doing this for free, I'm working at this point. If I'm doing that same job for $1,000, I'm working just as hard doing it for free. Like, you need to have a standard for yourself. A point where no matter what, you're like, this is the effort I'm gonna put forth. That's the biggest thing I can say about motivation, is you need to know how you, I don't want to say categorize, I feel like that's not the right word. Like, what standard you have for yourself. Like, do you picture yourself someone that always gives 50%? Or you picture yourself someone that always gives 120%? And if you always give 120%, do that, no matter what. Always give that 120%. No matter what.
You can't be afraid of change. Change happens. And change should motivate you to move forward. If something's changing, that means you need to change. You can't just be a rock and not change. Because that's just the way the world functions. Things change. People change. Things move on. Okay, guys. I know this video is kind of not my usual video that I'm uploading, and it's a little different. But I'm hoping this motivates you guys a little bit to do better than you are. Or at least motivates you to do something different. I want to end this video with a quote from Steve Jobs. And I hope it makes sense to you guys. It kind of makes sense to me. But the quote is, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. And pretty much what that quote means to me is you never really know what the future holds. But is there any reason for you not to do your best and hope for the best? To give that 120% every day and hope something better happens? Think about it. I do. Yeah.